department, by the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
My name's John Paul.
John Paul, okay.
My pleasure.
Have a good day.
You rescued him for 5 minutes there. You did him a favor. I think you rescued him for 5 minutes. You did him a favor.
There you go, okay, so now you can go back to your solitude, sir. Nice meeting you, John. Cheers.
Hey, I get to go to solitude. See you guys later.
John Paul, so what everyone wants to know, and I think is like the definitive question, is who reached out to who first on Giuliani? I think that's the answer we need to have, or there to be some clarity on this.
Call from A00 service.
There's a whole bunch that happened in the middle, and I don't feel comfortable about talking about it because I'm still concerned. It's. I'm sorry, guys.
When you say a whole bunch, was it a bunch pertaining to federal investigators or a whole bunch that pertain to other actors?
Those are so persistent. Well done to everyone.
You know what I mean, though? Was all this stuff happening there?
If we all agree to off the record, so I can find out if I can just ask you if I'm allowed to talk about this, can we do that?
No.
Shit.
You can go call
So
the
are you
lawyer
saying-
and ask him, and then come back and talk to us.
So do you know did you send the copy to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer? Do you know how the copy of the hard drive got to his lawyer? No comment?
And why this is important is because the Rudy Giuliani connection to the impeachment inquiry last year going after Joe Biden, and now we're a couple weeks before the election, and so that's the sticking point right there.
Do you think this was a kind of known secret among Trump circles that even before you gave this to Giuliani, that this was out there, that there was this hard drive with
no
potentially incriminating things?
I saw stuff that made me uncomfortable, and I felt afraid and fearful of repercussions, fearful of all due respect again to your professions, this kind of stuff. And I just wanted it to go away.
Have you heard from any of the Bidens, basically from the time that you received that laptop till today?
Did you call the FBI from the store or your cell phone?
Not
From your house?
They approached me.
The FBI,
Well,
how did the
FBI
FBI
approached you?
Oh, shit.
How would they know about it?
That's what I haven't. See, that's what we were talking about earlier. You did something. You made some action that tipped the FBI off, and I don't think we've gotten clarity on that. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe Hunter Biden told the FBI, which I doubt.
Yeah. I'm so sorry I was going to run this off that. I hope you guys didn't come all this way for this, for me to say no comment.
Well, I'm also confused because you told me that you did reach out to the FBI and that they didn't really do much with it. So was it that they came to you or that you went to them?
I was afraid. I reached out to some people that I trusted that could possibly get me in contact with the FBI that I could trust. And then they showed up.
Was this over the internet that you reached out to these people?
No.
These were friends
You
of
know
yours.
these people for a long time?
Yes.
About how long?
Like law enforcement or civilians?
No comment.
And are they Republicans, or are they anything to do with politics? So just
no comment.
You've
just
been friends of years,
yeah.
multiple years,
People I trusted.
less than 10 years?
No comment.
And so this was last winter, fall, and then they subpoenaed you on December 9th, according to you.
And oh, sorry.
I think the issue for us is that the longer we don't understand these points, we're just gonna keep showing up here and this is gonna continue.
You just break me down.
And all we wanna know is just the order of things, how they happened, so that we can get it right. And until then, you're gonna continue to face these questions.
I still have an interest in protecting the people I care about. And because of that, I don't feel comfortable about talking about the pathway that led to the FBI showing.
Have you had any communications with Trump campaign officials, Republican officials, political operatives of any kind about this?
And what
No?
I don't understand is if Hunter Biden never came back, and you have his paperwork that says Hunter Biden on it, the Bidens are all over this town, and everyone kind of knows them. So, did you not try to reach out to anyone who may have known the guy who's running for president and say, your son's laptop is here?
That's generally not standard operating procedure. Customer leaves us multiple points of contact, and when the repair is complete, we make every effort to reach out and contact the customer, and then do it again, and then after 90 days, the product is considered abandoned. We either recycle it, or we reclamate it, or take the parts that we used. If it's a repair that required parts, we take those parts back out, so we can use them in another thing, and then dispose of the machine.
And thank you for sharing about your medical condition, you not being able to see potentially whoever walked in here. But there's a part of the story that says that there was a Beau Biden Foundation sticker on the laptop. And so you saw that?
Yeah, it was covered the Apple logo.
Okay. And so it's that and the form that you think you believe and are certain that it was Hunter Biden's laptop.
What other information on the laptop that leads you to believe it was Hunter's?
Personal information.
Is there any thought in your mind that this might not have been Hunter's and might have been somebody trying to set Hunter up?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you ever review the contents of the hard drive, or did you just copy it and send it?
The paperwork says I checked in the machine to do a data recovery from a liquid damaged computer.
So you would have seen some contents of the hard drive.
I would have been
doing that.
responsible for dragging and dropping all the content.
All of the contents.
It was a mess.
And even though you couldn't see Hunter Biden, supposedly, who was here in this office.
No, I wouldn't have recognized him in a lineup. You know, I mean, it's like, obviously this is pre-masks on faces, which just screws me up 100 times more than now than it did a year ago. But, you know,
And sorry just to keep asking about this, but you just said you would have recognized him in a lineup.
I would not have.
But you would not have
No,
recognized him in a
no,
lineup.
But,
Okay.
Did you ever see Hunter Biden before that time?
no, I really wasn't paying that close of attention up until last summer.
And did you say, I mean, I had asked if you had known him growing up. Are you from Delaware? Or?
No. Well, I'm a military brat.
Okay.
And was stationed all over, but then escaped slowly over Delaware in the 90s.
So you were in the Air Force? Or your parents were in the Air Force?
So when did you realize that it was Hunter Biden's laptop? I'm just confused about this, because it was not when he walked in.
When he paused and said Biden, like I was expecting to know who he was.
Really? Tell us more about that interaction.
Oh, it's on the paperwork, so I guess I can
And I
I
just,
asked him for his name, because the standard procedure is, I'm like, let me get you checked into the system, first name, under, last name, and then there was a long pause, and then it was Marvin, and I'm like, oh, and then I kept working. I have tons of, well, not tons, I have a handful of famous people that come in here, but I either don't recognize them, or I don't know who Sabrina LeBeau, the older sister from Cosby. She comes in. But I don't know. I didn't watch the show.
And do you remember, did he say why he was dropping off his laptop here in Delaware? Because we have reason to believe that he was not living here at that time.
Customer came in with three products, three liquid damage MacBook Pros. One was a complete write-off, and I diagnosed that at the counter. It's a 2016 or newer model where you can't do a data recovery if there's substantial liquid damage to the logic board. It's Apple solders the drives to the logic board and makes it impossible. The machine can't do it. There's just no way to take it off. This machine was a write-off. So I handed that back to him. The second machine had just a keyboard issue that was preventing him from typing in some of the keys weren't responding, also a liquid damage. So I gave him a keyboard and said, when you come back in, bring back the keyboard so you can borrow this. So I guess he still has the keyboard. The other machine, I needed to disable some hardware inside of it that was liquid damaged and corroded that was causing it not to boot. So that required it being disassembled, turning it on, getting it to boot up off my network, and then manually transferring the data to the store server. And that's what we agreed on was the initial check-in for the repair.
What model was that one?
2016, I believe, MacBook Pro 13-inch.
And so it's the third computer that you found.
The third computer was the only computer that I checked in.
so you didn't see the contents of either of the two, not that keyboard damaged one, obviously not the one that was on the one that was totally damaged. You just looked at it and said, I can't do anything with this.
Yeah,
Back
yeah,
in,
it
or?
was a write-off. I just handed it back to him.
Okay.
I'm not going to check something in when I know that there's no
Right.
hope for it.
What kind of liquid was it? Do you know?
I lack the facility to testify.
And do you remember if he said
And we don't think about, in the tech world, we just don't think about what that is.
Definitely.
Yeah, we just,
Do you remember if he said if it fell on a lake, or did he knock some water over?
I typically don't ask those kind of questions. Nobody wants to go into detail how they screwed up their assembly and all that.
And so I'm just a little confused because why would Hunter Biden have 3 computers that were all broken? He's not like a computer salesman.
Rich, I guess, would be probably.
That he's rich?
Was it a mechanical hard drive or solid state hard drive?
All these products had solid state drives.
They're solid state drives.
Okay.
Have you ever in the past seen content on a device you're repairing and contacted authorities?
Absolutely. When I worked at Apple, oh shit, should I talk about it?
Yeah.
I was a lead genius at the Aspen Grove Apple store many years ago, and one of my techs, a customer brought in a computer that had crashed, and if you own a Mac, you know, sometimes when you turn them off instantly and you turn them back on, whatever you had open would open up, back up automatically. So pretty much what you were doing at the time of death would show up. And that happened to have child pornography on it. So I was alerted. I locked the Genius door, called Littleton Police Department, and they came in and confiscated the machine.
So did you call the Wilmington Police Department this time?
No. Because I did not see child pornography.
Did you see anything illegal, potentially illegal? Or what you thought to be illegal, which is why you contacted somebody about this?
I thought that if people knew what I knew, then my life would be in danger.
If people knew what you knew, the people as in Again, the Bidens are you talking about? I mean, because now people do know what you know.
There's a whole lot of players in this. Like,
The Ukrainians? Is that
Call
what you're talking
from
about?
Edge Zero Service.
I mean, don't put that in there. The guy's got a hit squad. And I don't
That's
need
what
to
you're
deal-
afraid of.
I
You're
don't
afraid
need
of
to
the
deal-
Ukrainians.
Well, I'm afraid of somebody wanting to not make sure that I don't extort them for money, or that I don't do, things with their computer. They would silence people too. So I was afraid for the owner. I was afraid for the people that are involved on the content of it, and I just wanted it out of my shop.
So you're afraid for Hunter Biden, not of the
No,
Biden family?
I was,
You're afraid of Hunter Biden?
not Hunter. I'm not
Or the
worried.
Biden family?
Yeah, just the links that people will go to in this political climate to keep things a secret.
And you're afraid of
That-
the Ukrainians?
A little bit. They're not. Some of them are very nice people.
Okay.
So that brings me back to my question about why did you re-up it to Rudy Giuliani? If this all went away, because the FBI didn't do anything, and Joe Biden did not come after you.
Yet.
You genuinely think Joe Biden is putting your life in danger?
People that work for him, sure.
Do you think if Joe Biden were to be elected president, your life would be in danger?
That sounds
More
like
so than it is now?
Probably about the same, but probably a little bit more. I don't know.
It seems like if there's any risk that might exist, it would have grown, it would have gotten worse in September after you had transferred the information to Rudy Giuliani's attorney. Like, if you're concerned before that, I just don't understand why you would put yourself out there farther and give this information to somebody who had actively been working to, somebody who we all would assume if I was going to give information to Giuliani that's potentially damaging the Hunter, that's going to see the light of day. So why would you do that if you're trying to keep a low profile?
I really don't want to acknowledge what you said, but I don't want to say no comment anymore because it's getting exhausting.
I think you should just tell the truth because
I am telling the truth.
I know you're telling the truth, and you've been very helpful for us because we harangued you before this too. But I guess that is what we care about, right? We can all agree, Giuliani, and that is because it's part of the election. And it seems like you said you were scared because you had bad photographs of Hunter Biden, but the story now is they're blowing it up to be about Ukraine, and so you kind of re-upped the political angle of this, and so that's why people want to know. And it's totally fine if Rudy Giuliani reached out to you, if that's the truth, or if you reached out to him. We just kind of want to know what happened.
I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk about the timeline. I don't want to talk about who reached out to who first. And, I mean, it's...
Maybe this is a better way to talk about it. Do you think the public needed to know this information about Joe Biden's meeting with the head of Burisma? Do you personally think, this is compelling information the public should know before they vote for or against this guy?
No, it wasn't about voting. It wasn't about the election, to be honest.
Okay.
I thought everything was fine until the impeachment.
Until the
impeachment.
The impeachment hearings were before the FBI.
No, the FBI picked up December 9th.
Right, the hearings were in November. And then the actual impeachment happened
The
later.
impeachment process
Was after.
Right.
was after. And
But the hearings, those big hearings in the House.
Yeah.
If I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
a lot of them were...
I think it was later.
I remember I was on a trip and I was listening to it, and that trip was in November. Anyway, go ahead.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
When you were going through this laptop, a lot of the content was from emails. Were these emails separately saved to a file or to the desktop? Or were they just part of an inbox? Like, how did you find those emails?
No comment.
But it's
Did
pretty
you even
important.
see the emails? Because once again, it's just such an innocuous email. If I have 100,000 emails in my system right now, did you even see the email? Because I think that's important to know too.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. No comment.
Did you at any time post this information or reach out on internet message boards, 4chan, 8chan, anything over Tor or the dark web, or in any ways inform a group of people about the existence of this laptop? No.
Just those people you trusted, you said.
Just the people that I thought that could help me
And
reach out to the FBI in a manner that would attract FBI agents that weren't local, because I had a fear of repercussions.
And was this people? How many people are we talking about that you reached out to? Couple?
One.
One. Just one? You had a friend or an acquaintance?
Yeah.
Was he a friend? Or she? Sorry.
They. I trust them, and I knew that they would help me out, and they are better at this political spy press thing than I am, so therefore I was, like, again, wanting not to deal with anything, but I wanted it to get out of the store, and I wanted to do it safely, so I figured put somebody that can vet who they're talking to and get a good vibe about them, and then before they pass them over to me.
I'm sorry, did you repeat that? Did you say they're better at the political spy press?
Well, like, I'm not good at talking to the press. I've never really done it.
Right.
I'm not good at politics or figuring out what I can and can't say in the world of political things. And then going to the FBI using other people, that kind of feels like covert spy shit. So, that's why I said spy, whatever.
What office of the FBI came if it wasn't Wilmington? Like, if it wasn't in this area?
I believe it was Baltimore with the Wilmington. They have a Wilmington office. It's like the full same thing.
And so you never heard from the FBI after December?
No, they checked up on me. Can I tell this part?
Yeah.
They needed help accessing his drive.
So you had repaired it at that?
No,
No.
I disabled the part that wasn't working, and then so moving forward, they hooked up a USB mouse and keyboard, and they should be able to boot and access the drive.
Right.
So they called me and then asked me if I could give them assistance over the phone on how to do that.
They didn't have their own tech people that could do that?
That was a head.
Are you sure you gave this to the FBI?
I mean, they.
First, I mean, it's in the FBI possession now, but did you check their credentials when they came in?
Yeah.
Are you certain they're FBI agents?
Again, I didn't get the monocle out to look at the badge or anything, but I trusted them. And plus, when you've never been issued a subpoena in your life and somebody rolls up on your beach with a subpoena, you kind of freeze and do what they're told.
So, the person who put you in touch with the FBI, this is a person that you trust, that you've known. Is this a person that you love?
I mean, care about, sure.
Romantically involved
Oh,
with
no.
at any point?
No, I only date. Never mind, I'm not going to say that either. Get in trouble.
Would says I thought you were friends with him.
Kevin?
Malloy?
Oh,
I'm friends.
no, Kevin, actually, he sold the house for Mary that I bought, so it was like my real estate. And he used to sell his art out of the houses, which I always liked. No, I like nice guy, but
Yes, yeah.
no affiliation or responsibility or any link to this whatsoever.
Okay.
Does this person live in Delaware?
No.
No.
John Paul, so I'm just a little confused about how you saw all this information if you weren't actively looking for it, because does each image pop up on the screen when it's transferring over and each email, or
Kid had a messy desktop.
so these photos were on his desktop?
There's about 1 million things on the desktop.
So, a lot of people, you could hear our kind of skepticism, I think. And a lot of people are going to read this, and this is why we're trying to get clarity, because people are going to read this and say, oh, this is ambiguous, we don't know this. They're going to think the worst. They're going to think this guy is intentionally, I mean, and the thing is, if you are doing this politically, that's fine. We live in a political world. But people who are Biden supporters are going to say, this guy surreptitiously went behind Hunter Biden's back to ensure that Donald Trump wins re-election. And they're going to think that because, and maybe it's true, but if it's not true, the ambiguous answers you give us aren't going to portray what your true motivation was. And I'm just warning, like, I understand that's what your stance is now. You don't want